notice things that are suspicious.
Welcome to the Media Circus. In a week where Tony Abbott explains the thinking behind his NBN policy.
I try to ensure that the internet doesn't work.
And when even Sunrise finally realised that Sunrise is a bit shit.
One hamster was caught in the act of stealing a drumstick from the other hamster's plate, but at least there were no pies in the face.
We've just been told to pretend that we didn't run that package, but
It was a bit crap, wasn't it?
that was pretty crap.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, some people would love it.
Yeah.
Some people would love it. I don't know
I don't reckon.
who you
I don't
are
reckon anyone would.
out there, but yeah, if you're a hamster lover.
Competing this week for Team Australia, please welcome Zoe Norton-Lodge. Formerly of the IPA, now Human Rights Commissioner Tim Wilson. And Scott Dooley. And they're up against Chris Taylor. Political editor of The Guardian, Lenore Taylor. And previously named Andrew Hansen, but a fitting with his team, Andrew Taylor tonight. And you guys, you are Team Barnacle tonight, OK, there you go. And speaking of barnacles, our fact-checker, Chesley Shadello. Let's choose the first topic for discussion, like all reputable current affairs programs do, through the art of mime. Zoe coming up as we play...
News headlines. Sorry, we haven't thought of a better name yet.
All right, Zoe, pick a card, any card. This is a story from the news, a headline from the news. You have to perform it before the paywall comes down in front of you for reasons I've forgotten now, but anyway. You got it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need that? OK.
No.
Let's get into the mime.
Listening. Headphones.
Princess Leia. No.
Princess Leia. What?
She had the headphones, dude.
Star Wars.
Abbott. Here, Tony Abbott.
Tony Abbott.
Tony Abbott.
Throwing balls.
Throwing seals.
Watch out for the thief.
Cats.
Offering. Cow. Throwing a cow. Offering some sort of
He was.
What is that?
So obvious, come on. All right, Zoe, come on out, rejoin your team. What was your team? What do you think it was?
I'm so confused.
Tony Abbott throws, and then it was
Tony
like
Abbott
a mermaid
throws?
or a something.
Do you think, wait. You, the Human Rights Commissioner, think Tony Abbott threw a mermaid?
It's Tony Abbott throws himself to the wolves. Wolves, obviously.
That was the most, coquettish, seductive wolf I've ever seen.
I can't help the way I was born.
This week, Abbott tried to turn around his fortunes with a series of interviews with an unfortunate visual message, which is, I'm standing between you and Christmas. During these interviews, he also admitted to breaking promises. What words did he use to express this?
Did he say he doesn't normally leave the promises in the car? He usually cracks down the window a little bit, but they just got
It was
broken.
alive when I left it.
Yeah.
You sound like you've used that excuse yourself a few times.
He said they were at odds with what he'd said before.
That is one of them. That's one of them, yes, is with odds with what he said before the election.
What we're doing with the ABC is at odds with what I said immediately prior to the election.
He also said, here's how he admitted the debt levy was a new tax.
You could say that that's not in compliance with our pre-election commitments.
Spit it out, Tony! That's right.
You can't be mad at someone with a stutter, can you?
Exactly. Look, this guy is ready for the taking, I promise you. All the Labor Party needs is a great leader with a catchy slogan.
We will be more than what this government is not.
Whoa! Can anyone understand?
No, I have no idea.
He did great, and he said it twice.
I know. When you think about it, Bill Shorten makes more sense than he doesn't.
Craig, to be fair, Bill Shorten is not known for his rhetoric. The reason why people love him so much is for his hilarious jokes.
These people would be the only people in the history of Australia who said that since the car can't drive very far, we'll move the garage to the car.
We have subtitles on that.
But you see, he's more a garage than he wasn't.
And he had a good one about denial this week, too.
He actually
Tony Abbott is in denial. He thought that was a river in Egypt.
I know, he used it. That's like the oldest gag in the book, and he did it.
Craig, I want to defend Bill Shorten's joke against Lenore Taylor. The denial is a river in Egypt. I just looked up on the internet, and it turns out that he got it from the finest joke source in the world. Extra nutty knock-knock jokes for kids.
This is vintage comedy.
I was talking to Lenore earlier, because since McAuliffe Show's made such a big deal about all of his zingers, I go, why do they keep doing this strategy? And you kind of thought it might be deliberate.
Well, some of his staffers have come into our office and said they were really proud that they had a zinger on McAuliffe the night before. And I kind of said, so you know they're not laughing with you, right? And they went, yeah, we know, but we sort of feel like we need to own it. Like, it happens anyway, so we need to own it. So it's kind of like...
He's being intentionally shit, is what you're saying. Lenore, you were there at the press conference, the 45 minutes, you poor thing. Do you think it's going to make much difference?
Well, I think it usually helps if a politician sort of says that they're wrong, but the problem is it wasn't at all clear what he thought he was wrong about. You know, he'd said that there were some barnacles he was going to clean off, but then there weren't barnacles anymore and they were just going to change the policies a bit, but you can't amend a barnacle. So I don't know what they're going to change.
Yeah.
Craig, it's much worse than just a poor budget, though, for Abbott. I mean, the budget's actually, according to Channel 10 News, torn a hole in the space-time continuum and it's sucking everything into it, including Abbott himself.
Tony Abbott's up to his neck in a budget black hole that's only getting deeper.
Tony, come back. He's in a parallel universe.
Now I understand the budget deficit. There was no wonder that Abbott had to call his big press conference this week. There's so many mixed messages, especially about the $7 co-payment, with Abbott and Hockey giving out different messages. I mean, you'd think that these two guys didn't hang out together for some reason. Well, let's see if our teams can keep their political messages straight as we play...
Mixed Messages.
We have Jules and Andrew as our political spin doctors. I'm going to ask you a question, OK? And you have to change your mind throughout on the fly as it becomes either positive or negative, OK? It's kind of like being in the Abbott cabinet, all right? You've got to change on the fly. So, Jules, come on in first. Woo. Sure. Bill Shorten wants to introduce an emissions trading scheme. Is this a good thing?
This is a wonderful thing. I mean, the only problem with this is the name. It needs something punchy, it needs something good, so I'm going to go with carbon tax, which is... it's proven to have not worked before and it's not going to work again. We must not have a carbon tax or any emission trading scheme because, quite frankly, we need it. I'm having a lot of troubles at home. My wife is so wonderful that I don't want to spend any time apart from her because I'm in love with her and she's great. And I got to tell you, honey, I'm so sorry I slept with your sister. I don't know why I did that.
You did the right thing there to avoid emissions trading scheme. That's what the Labor Party should do. Yeah. Well done, Scott Dooley. Andrew, come on up. Should Tony Abbott remain the leader of the Liberal Party?
Yes, absolutely. Tony Abbott is the single most wonderful leader in the entire history of world leaders. He's got a terrible track record, though, so we're ditching him. I mean, look at the promises he's screwed pensioners. He's building wonderful roads and infrastructure. This is a family man, of course, with a very strong wife, and although his daughter did get that scholarship, I don't know about that. I mean, really, well, he's happy to give it, but. She deserved it. She's Leonardo da Vinci, that daughter. I mean, she's just brilliant, I would give her a scholarship in a flash, and then take it away because she's disgraceful. We're going to get rid of him. He's fired. I'm furious. I am furious. Oh, can I finish?
Well done, Andrew.
Thank God.
OK, I think the most convincing was Dools. Congratulations. Congratulations. No, it was Andrew. No, on second thoughts, it was... forget it. I win this one.
News School. Lesson 94. Only show footage that is relevant to your report. Channel 10, try doing a report about real estate.
Australia's housing market is booming.
And it's sold. Good work. In your report about real estate, you showed footage of houses. Channel 7, do a report about petrol prices.
The NRMA says prices are already falling, slowly, right now.
Very good petrol footage. ABC, I'll give you an easy one. Do a report about David Cameron.
He raised the issue of tighter controls on online jihadist content. In a wide-ranging address, David Cameron raised fears about authoritarian capitalism. Obviously, that's the wrong footage there.
Yes, it is wrong. I said Cameron, not cameras. You fail, ABC. No, not snail. I said fail. No, not whale. I said fail. No, not Christian Bale. I said fail. Oh, God, this whole sketch is on the ABC, isn't it? It's never going to work. Class dismissed.
Round 2.
The federal government's especially nervous at the moment because last Saturday, Victorian voters turfed out a first-term Liberal government. Now, according to the campaign ads, the Victorian election offered a clear choice between this swamp monster with the face of Dennis Nathan and Tony Abbott and this swamp monster with the face of Daniel Andrews. Labor won government, but the upper house will again have plenty of crossbenchers, including one from the Sex Party, which is not to be confused with Tony Abbott's cabinet, the Single-Sex Party.
This is the official photo, right?
Yeah.
This is the one they've let go out. There's a guy with his eyes closed in it. Also,
there's a kid up the back.
It's Maurice Payne. It's Maurice Payne.
It's Maurice Payne. Oh, this is... So she's trying to sneak in. She's like, only one woman in cabinet? Ah, ha, ha!
Worst boy band ever.
Yeah, that's 5 seconds of deep winter.
As with all elections, advertising played a big part. And there were some real scare campaigns out there.
What sort of Victoria do you want?
Whoa! What was the message of this ad? This is an actual Liberal Party ad. What was the message of that?
Is it like, don't keep your blood on the outside of your body? That's not sustainable. It sounds fun. It sounds fun, but
Yeah.
it's not a good long-term
It's a health
plan.
message.
This is actually about cage fighting.
Cage fighting. Well done. Let's have a look.
What sort of Victoria do you want? Daniel Andrews wants to turn Victoria into the cage fighting state. Is this what you want?
And the voters answered and said, yes, that's what we want. So
I was hoping that was a blood donation ad that had just gotten out of hand.
Craig, that cage fighting ad was pretty nasty, but did you see the Labor response ad? I thought it was even worse. I mean, look at this. That's below the belt right there. Fiction. That's not on.
What I like about this is that they've gone, we better draw it on and then explain what it is. In case... yeah. No, Tim Wilson, you're the Free Speech Commissioner. So that's fine? That's good?
Well, that would actually be destroying property. So
that's
you would not actually be allowed to do that.
What if they owned it? What if it was Nat Dean's daughter who was like, fuck you, Dad?
Then it'd be fine.
Oh, good.
Finally, finish this campaign song for me.
Our region's vote is far too safe. We are too blind. A swinging seat is what I want. Let's change our mind. Because we always vote the same, our interests are not the game. Now is the right time to...
Fit the words inside the music better.
Now is the right time to what?
To fire the manager of my campaign.
To increase funding for mental health?
Who is that person, Craig?
This was an ad for the Greens in a regional area.
Oh.
That's what happens if you don't put cage fighters in a cage. He's a free range.
Yeah.
Let's see the ad. Let's see how it finished.
Now is the right time to vote for someone else.
I'm someone else.
Did he put his name in there at all?
That was not even the real guy, but he was just singing songs, vote for someone else.
So he was chosen. They were like, I know, I need to get someone. I am choosing this person to
I know
sing
the
that
guy,
song.
yeah.
Oh, he was cast for his talent.
It seems that way, yeah. It seems like a conversation was had between at least two people and they were like, this is the thing that we will do now.
And unsurprisingly, the electorate listened to that message and didn't vote for the Greens, and they got smashed in that electorate. So there you go.
Well, they did, because they voted for someone else.
One of the problems TV news programmes face is what order should stories be shown in. For instance, on the day when 20 world leaders gathered in Brisbane for the G20 summit, Adelaide News ran this story first.
Gale Bayrie hasn't had running water since Friday night.
It is very frustrating.
Here's why. One of the main pipes has sprung a leak, and it's proved to be a tricky repair job.
That's right, a leak at the Masonic Homes Village in Northcote came before the G20 coverage. So let's see if Lenore can think like a newsmaker as we play... OK, Lenore, the stories you're about to see are from Channel 7's Adelaide News Bulletin last Friday. We've put them out of order, and your job is to put them in the order they actually ran in the news, OK? Let's have a look at the stories.
Bricks from Adelaide used in Shanghai's Disneyland. First Australians heading to West Africa to treat Ebola. Victorian state election is happening tomorrow, and trampoline-related injuries at trampoline centre.
I'm thinking I kind of need to put them in the reverse order to what I'm interested in.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
That might. So I'm going to say probably leave Bricks from Adelaide at Disneyland first.
Bricks, so you're saying that's the least interested story?
No, the most.
Oh, in Adelaide, they love
for Adelaide, but for you... You don't want to know how Bricks from Adelaide are building Shanghai's Disneyland.
No.
Jesus. Tough crowd.
And
so lock that in, number one.
Yeah, I reckon that's number one. Probably Ebola 2.
Ebola in number 2. Let's lock that in. And then...
I don't know.
You're not too sure? But you can ask your team if you need help, but...
What do you reckon?
Just looking at them, I'm not sure if I would.
Bug it if I know.
No, you're on your own here, Lenore.
I think people from Adelaide, they hate Victorians, don't they? So they
maybe...
wouldn't care about the Victorian election. They just go, oh, they're a bunch of cage
so
fighters.
You can put that 4.
I think Victoria election last.
OK, so switch
So Victoria election going to last?
Lenore, I don't want to influence your decision, but let me just say that trampoline news is a big issue right across Australia.
Sydney trampoline centres. Potential bone-breaking factories.
Bone-breaking factories, yeah.
Yeah.
So should I put trampoline 2 then?
Well,
should I put trampoline 2?
I guess what we do know about trampolining is the pictures will be good.
So a kid with a broken leg's better than Ebola?
It's more serious.
These are the decisions made in our newsrooms every day.
OK, swap 2 and 3 and lock it in.
Swap 2 and 3, lock it in. OK, let's swap 2 and 3 and lock that all in. Well, let's see what order 7 News played them in. What was in 4th position?
The first Australian health workers to help treat Ebola patients are on their way to West Africa.
Ebola was a bit boring, apparently. What about 3rd position?
This is the new Shanghai Disneyland under construction in the Adelaide Hills.
The Chinese demanded a paver made out of Adelaide's own earth.
I bet they did. You can just imagine the Chinese. We must have a paver made of Adelaide.
Yeah. You'd think it'd be the opposite. You'd think there'd be these Chinese people saying, is nothing made in China anymore?
Yeah. Those terracotta warriors in China are actually made out of Adelaide bricks.
It's
like the whole fucking wall of China. It's all Adelaide bricks.
It's a great wall of Glenelg.
OK, we have left the Victorian election and the trampoline injuries. Let's see what was in 2nd position.
Victoria's Premier and Opposition Leader have made their last pitch to voters ahead of tomorrow's state election.
Which means that the story that came in first place was...
A warning's been issued about the risk of injury at a new recreational trampolining centre.
There you go.
Should have listened to him.
Yeah, should have listened to him. Which means you got number 4. Which, to be fair, is kind of a compliment to you. Well done.
Keep your job at the Guardian.
Yeah.
You know, Craig, Adelaide certainly do love local stories, but no one loves local stories more than Channel 9. In fact, they even run stories local to their own newsroom.
And today we've got a video from our very own cameraman, Josh Martin, that's gone viral across the 9 News office.
Round 3.
Australia's parliament has a proud history of democratic debate and an even prouder history of MPs being kicked out of those debates for behaving like dickheads. And last week, Speaker Bronwyn Bishop, who I believe I meant to look like, kicked out a record 18 members during question time, which brings us to...
The member for Hotham will leave under 94A. The member will resume his seat and leave under 94A.
Questions without notice.
Teams, welcome to Questions Without Notice. Tim Wilson, how many times has Bronwyn Bishop kicked out MPs from Parliament?
This term?
This term.
I don't know, but she was up at like 100 at one point. And so Lenore's doing this, more.
Yeah,
I'm thinking more in the 220...
This is like Price is Right.
573.
573, no, that's wrong. It's 285. That's unacceptable, you got it wrong, get out. 94A, get out, Tim Wilson.
All right.
Get out. Duels, where are you? There you are. I don't know why I can't see with this hair on. Of those 285, how many were coalition MPs?
Oh.
Is that a number?
I can see you know this one.
It's a number between 0 and 285.
Thank you. I will say 76.
76. What do you think of that? Lenore, how many? 5. Well done, that's right. There have been 5 evictions, and there were these 4 coalition MPs. Although, to be fair, those evictions might have been mistakes because, like the rest of us, I'm sure she had no idea who they are. You got that wrong, Dulce, but like Bronwyn Bishop, I'm not going to kick out my mates. Get out! The next question is to Chris. OK, the first person ever ejected from an Australian parliament was James Katz in 1910.
False.
For what insult was he so punished? I'm going to give you a clue. It was at A, filthy cads, B, thieving Irishmen, C, dirty skunks, or D, a bushel of dickwads.
I'm reliably informed by the member for Taylor that it's dirty skunks.
Dirty skunks is right, well done. You said, that was a dirty, skunky thing to say, you dirty skunks. And Chris, out. Get out. All right, Lenore, you're answering all the questions anyway. To the present day. Which MPs hold the coalition's... Lenore, which MPs...
Yeah, it's good. I'm my own volition. I'm not even
sit
waiting
down.
for this. I'm not even waiting
You
for
will
this.
sit down in my house, Hanson.
No, up yours, Bronny.
Right, Lenore. Which MPs hold the coalition's male and female all-time records for being sin-bin from Parliament?
I think Christopher Pyne.
Yes. And the male? No, and the female? and the female? And the female?
No, maybe Bronnie herself.
Bronwyn Bishop, well done, Lenore Taylor. It was Bronwyn Bishop on 17 times in a heroic 43 times by Christopher Pyne. In fact, Pyne has been thrown out so many times, he even throws himself out at times. Now, Lenore, you know what to do. Get up.
You can't win.
Final question, Zoe.
Yes?
Get out. Which means the winner of this round is...
Can I just say... So...
No, hang on. It's not you, it's me. Get out. Get out. I like this power. Out.
It's a shit game. Ross Cameron explains the deficit.
Daddy, can you explain the budget deficit to me?
Sure, son. Look, when a government really loves spending, they sometimes do... the budget's kind of like... Let's Sky News presenter Ross Cameron explain, OK?
Tony Abbott has arrived and is essentially at base camp of Mount Everest.
and he's looking up at $460 billion worth of Labor debt. You talk about debt. What we're really looking for is a Commonwealth budget which was on life support, which has been just beaten to within an inch of its life. And they're looking down on it saying, has this thing got a pulse? And Tony's saying, OK, here we go. We're going to try and climb to the top of this $460 billion of Labor debt. So Tony's saying, OK, I'm going to carry the food and water, and the National Party's going to carry the tents and the blankets, and, you know, and now we're going to ask Labor just to carry the oxygen masks. And you've got Bowen and Shorten there. Bowen and Shorten say, you're actually asked to help carry Australia up to no way. We want a Sherpa to carry Labor to the top. And the Sherpa is the middle class of Australia who get belted every time by Labor's profligate spending.
I know, it hits my head too.
Yesterday's news is the game based on the news from this day in history. So first up for all teams, have a look at this. What is this man's job?
The gross share rose, what's GOS?
He's Tony Abbott's speechwriter.
That's John Kerrin, and he was at the time the Treasurer.
He was the Treasurer at the time, that's right, well done.
Only for a short time.
Only for a short time, why? George Brandis is still in charge of metadata. I mean, why did he have to go? Kerrin retired on this day in 1993, so they replayed the footage that showed he wasn't a very good Treasurer and the footage that showed that he was very good at hypnotising chickens.
Mr Kerrin gained great respect as Primary Industries Minister, where he succeeded in gaining the confidence of much of the rural lobby.
Did we hear the reporter say that that is how he won the support of the rural lobby?
Yes,
by hypnotising a chook.
And they just went, one of us, one of us.
Yeah, set just fell apart. This is the cutbacks. I'm starting to think this isn't a real living room. The ratings are going to shoot up during that because people think it's the block. All right, on to the next question. What is Tony Abbott talking about here?
They're choosing, if you like, between a proven failure and a potential disaster.
Is he talking about an ABC programming decision where they had to decide whether to recommission Randling or commission the Chasers Media Circus?
Yeah. Lenore, do you know the answer?
No, I don't.
I think I might know.
Yes.
Is it Kevin Rudd was challenging Beazley for the Labor leadership?
Well done. That's right, well done. Yeah. Tony Abbott in 2006 talking about the Labor leadership ballot, and he was pretty spot on. It was between proven failure Kim Beazley and the man who went on to fulfil the potential as a complete disaster, Kevin Rudd. Well done. Tony Abbott was also in the news on this day in 2002, or at least he was in the background of the news.
Assessment dated the 22nd of November 2002 was issued, which was paid on the 2nd of December to the ANZ Bank Rose Bay.
John Howard, didn't he?
Can we just unsee that, please?
You hadn't seen that?
I hadn't seen
it. Like, we all know the earwax footage, which has been played to death. That is so much better.
Yeah, it's
That's
good.
Brilliant.
It's good.
Craig,
Yes,
I
Jay.
actually think it might have been Tony Abbott preparing to negotiate with Clive Palmer because...
Happy to kiss if anyone wants to kiss me.
See, Palmer's getting ready. Have a look at this. I can do this all night.
At the end of that round, the winner is Team Barnacle. Well done.
Australia.
You get to kiss Tony Abbott.
Pandemonium!
First up, some big news in puns. The Chinese government just banned wordplay in their news broadcasts. Apparently, China thinks puns cause cultural and linguistic chaos. The Chinese regime has taught us that wordplay isn't just good pun, it's one of our fundamental freedoms. So don't be embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed about your duck video puns.
It's part of a new political campaign by Animals Australia, and they've really hit the...
Come on, say it. Go on.
Quackpot.
Be proud! Be proud of your work like this segment's patron saint, Channel 7's Damien Smith.
Detectives will subject the fire to
a dogged investigation. No strike here, but there was spare time. Coffee futures are the highest they've been.
Some might even say monkey mania, but they'd be wrong, wouldn't they, little fella?
Nothing to go ape about. Damien Smith, 7 News.
Can you imagine how many years in jail he'd serve in China? Anyway, let's risk cultural and linguistic chaos now. The first story is about a cheese tasting competition.
Did the loser cry like a baby bell?
You've lost the competition. Can you bear it?
The winner made a mozzarella in earnings. The loser was told not to worry, their loss wasn't in blue vein.
Oh, ricotta do better than that.
Let's see what they used.
No wonder they eat them all up.
Next story, a lamb chop was sent into space. Yes, this is a real story. What was the pun?
Yeah. Press the launch button.
Yes, no.
It went on a spaceship.
Spaceship?
This was one lamb chop served with rocket.
Oh, that's one of them. That's
It'll be entering zero gravy tea atmosphere.
The chop wanted to thank his captain, Veal Armstrong.
Oh. And his lieutenant, Bahaz Aldrin.
This is quite good. It's a small step for a lamb, but a giant bleat for lamb-kind.
Yes! Oh, that's incredibly close. Let's have a look at the answer.
The lamb chop that's simply out of this world. One giant leap for lamb-kind, a tandoori chop has ventured where no lamb has gone before. Served best with a rocket salad.
There you go, well done. Rocket salad, that's not bad. All right, final story. Someone has made a movie about washing machines. Go.
Oh my God!
Does it star Kate Sudson?
Does it star...
Who does it star, Chris?
Matt... No. Laundromat Damon.
It was very controversial that the entire cast were a load of whites.
That's very good. Let's have a look at the answer.
Does this relationship, you know, get a little bit agitated mid-cycle?
It's being described as the cleanest romantic comedy ever made.
This puts a new spin on love stories. This is a real soap opera.
Time's up, and it's really hard to split these two teams tonight, so I think I'm going to need some help from an expert judge. Oh. Damien Smith! Oh, my God!
Well, Craig, thank you. In my considered opinion, I have come to the conclusion that the punniest team today, you're supposed to laugh then, is Team Australia!
Thank you, Damien Smith, the king of puns.
I am the king of puns. No one shall out-pun me, or you'll be punished.
And that is the end of the show as well, which means that our winner for the 8th time in a row is Team Australia. A clean sweep. Well done to Team Australia. Tonight's Media Circus is the last episode of the series. Thank you for watching. But before we go, you might have seen that Q&A finished up 2014 on Monday with a choral tribute to Noel Pearson's eulogy for Gough Whitlam.
For people like me who had no chance, if left to the means of our families, we could not be more indebted.
In the interests of ABC efficiency, we thought we'd steal Q&A's idea. So to say goodbye, please welcome the Inner West Voices with their choral tribute to the lesser orators of Australian politics in 2014.
Everyone needs to be part of Team Australia. I'm worried about the emergence of Team Idiot.
We are an island, Tony Abbott! Buy a map of the world! Buy one. You think you should buy one?
The poorest people either don't have cars or actually don't drive very far in many cases.
The most out-of-touch Prime Minister since the top-hat-wearing Stanley Bruce.
The great thing about Team Australia is that we welcome everyone who is prepared to have a go.
Well, I think when it comes to Sharia law, you know, to me, it obviously involves terrorism.
Everyone who is prepared to have a go. Look, I'm going to shirt front, Mr. Putin. You bet you are. You bet I am.
Is that what we're talking about here?
Well, what you're viewing on the internet is not what we're interested in. Well, it records what electronic web address has been accessed.
You bet you are. You bet I am. These people are dealing with dickheads.
Goodbye. We'll see you later. Let's go.